one. Welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of the Insiders TV show, sponsored by FantasyElite, the app that you can get in the what store, Davis?
The App Store
On
your iPhone.
The App Store for the iPhone, iPod, and iPad. We'll be drafting Davis versus Mike. Leone, and both these guys are going to be like giving basically impressions of each other. But we have on the show Dave Locker and Laffy D and Davis Maddock from Fantasy Insiders. And let me switch the shot. And then we have Mike Leone, who is doing his best Davis Maddock impression. So Mike, all right, let's say I'm talking to Davis. Davis, how is it going today?
Bro, I'm so tired. I don't have my energy drink. I was almost late. I was getting tatted up. I got the 30 here. You guys know what that stands for? It's got a dual meaning. It's my national ranking in speech and debate. It's only Steven Strasburg's K rate.
Okay. I'm not even mad. I have to give it to you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just glad we're doing this show. Football Twitter is just the worst. I am so done with it.
Oh, I got it, Davis. Those walls are swaggy, though. That matches your personality.
Well, it's K-State colors.
Yeah.
Wildcats, dude.
And Lakers colors for Swaggy P.
Dude, please tell me that's a Swaggy P jersey. It's a Magic Johnson jersey, isn't it?
It is, but you know what, brah? It's good. It's all good.
Brah.
It sounded so not right.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's talk some baseball. By the way, the opening song. Did you guys see the Josh Reddick walk-up music a few nights ago?
Yeah, Careless Whisper.
To Careless Whisper. It was amazing.
Yeah, I had him on my team when he dunked.
And then he hit a home run, yeah. So we also will be giving away a T-shirt if anybody guesses the word of the day. So, host, close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Look at my phone. I'm not closing my eyes.
Okay. Well, don't close your eyes. If you can see that, there you go.
Can I open
That is the word of the day. If they say it...
Davis, you know you can open your eyes.
If they say the word, then all you gotta do is type in 1 in the chat, and you'll get a shirt. The first person that does it. So, there you go. Guys, take it away.
Okay. Well, we need to talk about weather because apparently it's not summer yet. So, but the main game I think that we need to talk about is San Diego, Colorado, because as of right now, it seems like the industry is sort of split as to how they think it's going to go. I know we were talking about how Dink thinks the game is going to happen, maybe with some possible delays, but you were saying that you were a little bit worried about it happening, Leone?
Yeah, right now I'm with Dink where I think it's going to happen with some delays, but sometimes when it starts risky, the forecast we always see can shift like up or down 20% like in an hour what they think the rain's going to be. So if it ends up being worse than they think, then it could be in trouble.
Are you worried about that game, Laffy?
No, not really, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's some concern there, but when you look at the radar, I looked at it a little while ago. I'm going to have to look at it again. But it wasn't one of those games where you're going to get a postponement. And if you're like me, you're probably not playing Eric Stoltz. So it shouldn't be that much of a concern. I mean, really, the biggest concern when you're dealing with weather is pitchers. So if I'm going to play a couple hitters from that game, I won't be stacking it by any means, but I'm not too worried about it now.
Okay, and Leone, what are the other games? I know New York, Pittsburgh already got postponed. What are the other games that you're worried about right now?
Detroit at Boston's kind of in a similar situation as the Colorado San Diego game. I think
Philadelphia, but it's clearing up.
Yeah, I think that's it right now. Philly looks like it's cleared up pretty well.
Okay. Well, we should move on then, because we need to get into pitcher talk, because there actually aren't very many like super clear-cut options tonight. Maybe there are to you guys, but so far in all the stuff I've looked at, I haven't found any pitcher that I'm super comfortable with. So I'll let Lofty start. Who is like the first guy who jumped off the page to you that you're really wanting to use tonight?
Well, that's the thing. You and I were talking about that a couple minutes ago, right? And it's not that anyone jumps off the page at me. You know, it's not Tanaka against the Mets or Cueto against San Diego. So I completely understand where you're coming from that perspective. But you have a couple guys that aren't priced highly and are pretty cheap. Somebody I actually look, he concerns me, but Lance Lynn is one guy at home against the Braves. He's going to scare a lot of people off because he's so inconsistent. But I wouldn't mind throwing him in some lineups. I kind of like him tonight. And then Pettit, really, he was trash last time out. But I think he's going to fare way better at home. He has this year already. Look at it. He's got a sub-1 ERA at home this year. Miami stinks on the road. They stink altogether, man. They're going to balance out. And those are two mid-range guys. I'll let Leone take care of the high-end guys.
Yeah, I think you should try and talk me into Darvish right now.
He's been hot.
Dude, Dink and Leone are going to kill me, but I'm going with two guys that actually pitched last night. Nate Eovaldi and Rodano. The upside, I just think it's worth it. You look at that velocity.
You should probably talk about how Yusmeiro Petit only averages an 87 mile. No, Petit averages an 87 mile per hour fastball, so you can't use him tonight.
Sure I can.
I'm kind of splitting on FanDuel one pitcher sites, Darvish and Lynn. I like Lance Lynn a lot with Lauf that one.
You are with Lauf on that one?
Pitches better at home because it's a pitcher's park, and that lineup's pretty heavily right-handed. You know, the two lefties they have are good, but if he can work around him, you know, the last 3 years he has a 277 weighted on base average allowed to right-handed batters, which is better than like Greinke, Santana, Weaver. He struck out 28.2% of those batters he faced, and only Scherzer and Darvish have a higher K rate for right-handed batters. So I think that's a really good play. Probably my top play on multiple starting pitcher sites, and I'm kind of split on one pitcher sites between him and Darvish. For me,
Davis, so real quick, an added bonus for Lance Lynn is run support. This guy's topped the league in run support for the past couple of years. I mean, you're talking like every time he goes out there, they're dropping 6 runs on the board, and clearly it's unpredictable. I get that, but I don't know. And what is he going up against? Santana tonight, right?
Yeah.
So you know, Santana hasn't been pitching as well, but he's not bad. So I still think St. Louis will put some runs on the board. I like Lance Lynn.
Yeah. I'm going to add on to the point that Leone made. If you want to look at weighted on base average versus right-handed batters, Tanner Roark is actually even better. Now, it's a super small sample size, and he's really bad against left-handed batters. Like, his weighted on base average versus left-handed batters is like over 300, but his weighted on base average versus right-handed batters is like 196. And he can K them a little bit, definitely not as good as Lynn, but you're also getting like a $2,000 discount on FanDuel. Do you think it's stupid to use Roark on one pitcher side?
He's facing, 6 left-handed batters?
Yeah, and some
he's only facing 2, which is...
Right, and you have Granderson, who could easily pull one out. You got Daniel Murphy, who's been on a ridiculous tear right now. But I still don't see him as a bad play either, Davis. I mean, the Mets can fall apart at any moment.
Oh, wow, they really loaded up on lefties. Okay, I
don't mind him. I like him on multiple starting pitcher sites, but I wouldn't roll that out on FanDuel.
Yeah, no, I'm changing my lineup right now.
At least
I
in
didn't
a cash
realize
game, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that they had. I kind of forgot Lucas Duda was a thing, and I also forgot that Bobby Abreu is a thing. Bobby Abreu in 2014 is on a Major League Baseball team. That's actually happening. So
He's
that's
no Eric
frustrating.
Decker, but he's all right.
No, he is no Eric Decker. I just want to draw everyone's attention to the fact that the hat that Leone/Davis is wearing, it says LE1 on it. That is Leone's rapper cousin. And if you go on YouTube and search that in, you can see Leone's cousin rapping in music videos. That's a real thing that exists.
Can I post it in the chat, Dave? Is that legit? Because it's pretty awesome. My cousin's way cooler than I ever was or will be.
Yeah, Tommy in the chat. I hadn't seen the Nets lineup yet. That's why you should care, but you don't care because obviously, I don't know. I think I definitely would feel more comfortable using Darvish than Lynn, but you're obviously having to pay You're having to pay a significant percentage more for the safety of using Darvish over Lynn. But I think that I'm probably on board with your idea, Leone, of splitting them in cash games. Are there any other cheaper guys that you would use if, say, someone just didn't feel comfortable using Darvish against that Toronto lineup? Who is a cheaper guy you would maybe feel comfortable using in cash games?
Landslide. I'm pretty much, for me, it's like Lynn or Darvish. Are you talking just FanDuel? Are you talking just 1/3?
No, DraftKings as well. DraftKings draft stream.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind Pettit. The Marlins obviously have been better this year than everyone expected, but I still don't think they're quite as good as they've hit so far. They've been striking out a lot. It's the best pitcher's park in the league. So I like Pettit. I like Lynn. Rourke, who we talked about already. Quintana. He's just solid across the board. All his skills are pretty solid. He's not amazing in any one skill category, but he's not below average anywhere either. And then he's facing, an Astros team that can strike out a lot, which will help bump up his Ks.
So they don't strike out as much against lefties, though. And while I do like him, I think he's like best suited for a second pitcher on a two-pitcher site. You can't make him your number one on FanDuel.
Yeah, no, all those guys I was saying are guys I like on multiple starting pitcher sites.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably reasonable. That was the guy I wanted to ask about, though, is because the Astros, when they're up against a bad starting pitcher, they can do some stuff, but it's pretty rare that they're going to touch up someone who is mediocre to above average. So I don't hate the Quintana pick. I think I'm probably coming over to Lance Lynn just because that Braves lineup just strikes out so much. If you go look at the team batting statistics on FanGraphs, they are towards the bottom of like almost every important category. And honestly, they might be like closer to the Padres than I realized because I haven't looked at that page in a couple days.
Braves?
Yeah, the Braves.
Really not. It's the name. When people hear the Braves, they say, "Oh, I don't want to play a pitcher against them." But that's not what they are right now at all. They're not scoring, and they're not hitting, and they're not getting on base.
Yeah, they K more than any other team in the league.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they're third last in team weighted on base average against right-handed pitching, and the K rate is like top 5 versus right-handed pitching.
And listen, if you really want to get ballsy, Alfredo Simone. Yeah, 2 bad starts in a row, but the Phillies are really bad. Just look what they're doing on offense right now. And once you do, you'll find out that it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're garbage. I mean, he's the kind of guy that could give you a decent start, and hardly anyone's going to play tonight. Obviously, it's barring weather, but any decent to mediocre pitcher against the Phillies has slight appeal.
What do you guys think about Kyle Kendrick tonight? Because basically the Reds, there we go. The Philly homer tells us no.
You can't. He doesn't strike people out. He induces a lot of ground balls, but still, he will give up home runs. You can't play him against a Cincinnati team that has a lot of Philly killers on it. They're lucky Jay Bruce is out tonight, but
Votto's out too. All right.
Votto and Bruce are out, yeah, as well.
That kills me because Votto would be a sure shot for a home run. But yeah, Davis, I just don't see it. I know what you're saying. The lineup is weak right now, and you know what? You were dead on about that with Willie Peralta a couple weeks ago. You were spot on. But I just think it's a different scenario here. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick obviously does not have the same skills. It's just I just saw some chatter on Twitter this morning, basically when Votto landed, or they announced that he's not on the road trip with the team right now. I just saw some chatter this morning about maybe using him on multiple pitcher sites like on Draft Street or DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm with Laufey where I really don't like taking chances on guys with K rates that low.
He has 4 less strikeouts in all but one start. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you're really hoping that they don't get hit at all. You need a quality start at least. A guy like Quintana, who's got 7+ Ks per 9, and then can get a boost in K rate because of the matchup. You've got a little bit more margin for error. Kendrick, you don't really.
Right. Kendrick's a number 4 or number 5 pitcher who's going to give up at least 1 home run a game, and usually at least 3 runs a game, and usually not get to 7 innings. And if he does, it's not going to do much because there's no strikeouts.
All right, we probably owe chat an explanation for why we haven't talked about Greinke at all. I just think in general he's super overrated because he doesn't go very deep into games very often.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's safe. He's safe, but look at his game logs. There's like one game that was against the Phillies, obviously, that he had a big game. Other than that, he's a safe play, but is he really that safe when you're paying this much for him?
Yeah, and as I learned the other night when I took Strasburg versus the Diamondbacks, that's not necessarily a super safe offense to take a starting pitcher against because
especially in Arizona.
Well, they have good patient hitters at the top of the order, and that for K pitchers that sucks. That really increases their pitch count and makes it even less likely that he's going to get through 7 innings.
And it's a hitter's park too. It's a hitter's park that if it's closed, that's a retractable roof, right? Yeah, it's not. It's oh my God, it's going to be 90. It's going to be 100 degrees. It's 100 degrees there right now. So, needless to say, I have trouble believing the ball is going to stay in the park tonight, even if the roof is closed.
Let's just run through these guys real quick. Just say yes or no, even on like a 2-pitcher site. Leone, Sonny Gray.
Yes.
Drew Hutchinson, Laufey.
GPPs, strikeouts.
Okay. All right. I'll give you guys one pitcher. So there's the $25 qual on FanDuel tonight, right? And we already talked about a lot of the chalk obvious plays, but who's a guy we haven't talked about or just barely covered who you think is going to be low owned, who could give you a shot at getting that seat? Laufey.
Scherzer, absolutely Scherzer. He's not going to be highly owned against Boston at Fenway Park, but that his upside is it's unparalleled to almost any pitcher out there aside from the top handful. Scherzer is my guy for GPPs tonight if you're going big money because you know what he can do, and Boston will strike out. Boston strike out. So I don't know. I do like Ortiz on the other end of that though.
Okay. Hey, Leone, you need to accept my challenge in Elite.
Okay.
So that we can play the elites and you can get your butt kicked. Tuttle got lucky versus me last night, as he's wont to do.
In the same game, Lester's kind of intriguing too. He's had some monster games. Like he's really been good this season.
Yeah.
So
Tuttle is talking in chat like he owned me. He beat me by like 5 points last night, and that was with negatives out of Eovaldi. So, like, he should probably chill. If Eovaldi has, like, a baseline quality start, I beat him by 20. So he should probably chill.
You had Eovaldi? That's pretty surprising.
Yeah, no, I don't. Normally I don't like those guys who, like, throw really hard and, strike people out. That's not really, I like guys who, like, 60% ground ball rates. Like, Dallas Keuchel's, like, one of my favorite pitchers ever, honestly. Yeah, but it's a tournament night, so we've covered pitchers as much as we need to. I think pitching tonight is going to be something that you're going to have to trust yourself. You're going to be on Fangraphs until 10 minutes before lineup locks, deciding on the guy that you really want to use. But there's some valuable analysis that we can all offer in terms of hitting, and I think obviously on a qual night, David, your audio's not on.
Did you just say trust yourself?
Yes.
Like you have to believe in yourself?
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. If you playing DFS with scared money is the same thing as playing poker with scared money.
Okay, carry on. We got too much.
So are you like really making different selections because you're scared?
Yes, you will do if you are playing scared, you will make selections based on fear rather than on logic.
He's right. He's
I'm
right.
absolutely right.
Okay, settle down there, bud. I'm trying to help you out here. I don't mean.
Oh yes.
So what I'm saying is, I'm with Davis here. I am, and I think that you make and you know what, those gut decisions that you see your gut, you go with your gut, and then you pull them out last minute because you see something on Twitter, and then you look over and your gut pick has 3 home runs, and your other guy's 0 for 19 with 14 strikeouts. So I mean, I agree with Davis, and it goes
19.
Oh,
yeah.
Bad
Well,
day.
it was a long game, but yeah, I'm with you on that, Davis. Don't let these guys tell you otherwise.
I just don't know how like tonight would be a night any different than any other night where you'd want to trust yourself. I mean, isn't that just a given?
Because there are not chalk pitching options.
Can he give you some motivation? I'm with him. Like Lance Lynn, I've questioned Lance Lynn a million times. He may suck tonight, but he's the kind of dude that people will pull out of the lineup last minute.
Yeah. Well, if you believe in yourself, he's going to do good. So
let him
I'm
motivate.
not-
Yeah. Oh, it's all
motivate.
about your confidence level. If you're confident, then I think Lance Lynn will feel that and
No,
strive.
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in general the decisions that you're making, because you can either trust in your research and trust in your data, or you can just be scared and take, like, I definitely think that there is something to playing confidently or playing with scared money in daily fantasy sports. I absolutely think that's a thing.
There is, and I also just think, I don't know, Nap. I talked to him about this before, but you know, it always seems like bad luck when really it isn't. But you can go on those extended terrible runs when, you know, guy on Twitter last night seemingly close to offing himself over DFS. So yeah, you just, you know, you got to get on the run.
That's his thing, man. EMS bro, that is his thing. And during basketball season, it's even worse. Like he will actually send tweets out to the players, letting them know that they're letting him down. Like there's just you have to get past people like that.
Who did he tweet? Kobe?
No, yeah, he will tweet actual players. But anyways,
Yeah.
if you believe in yourself and you play I Can Fly before the lineup slot.
No, it's about trusting your process and trusting your research.
I'm agreeing
Why
with
would you ever not trust it?
Because you've been doing poorly, because you're nervous, and you end up using a player that you saw recommended on Twitter or something, even though you're more qualified than that person, even though you know dailies better than that person,
Right.
or whoever the outlet is. But if you go on an
it's not all the time, but there are times where you second guess yourself and make that poor decision. But I guess on the other end of that, you could say that there's times where you see some advice and you take it and you end up profiting from it. So it really all depends on how you look at it.
No offense, Davis, but that's just not true. That's not true.
Davis, listen.
Davis, listen. I'm from Buffalo, okay? Here in Buffalo,
I trust Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins is gonna have 1,000 yards in 10 touchdowns.
Stephen Hill. I mean, have you guys seen his height at the combine? Oh my God, those numbers. Stephen Hill. Can you say Jerry Rice?
all right, let's.
We gotta move on. We gotta
let's
move on
move
to
on.
hitters. The first thing we need to talk about is stacks. We're not going to cover the Rockies because that's obvious. Every time they're at home against a weak lefty, you're on those guys. I do want to talk about Padres real quick before we give out selective stacks, and I want you guys both to, because the Padres are the worst offensive team in baseball. So I want both you guys to talk about trusting the Padres for a stack tonight. I'll let Laffy go first.
Trusting the Padres to stack against? What do
No.
you mean?
To stack Padres against George of the Roses.
Trusting yourself to trust the Padres.
I will fight you, Kitchen. I will fight you.
No, not at all. De La Rosa isn't really that terrible. He's not good either, but he's actually capable. He's never, in my opinion, De La Rosa's never been a good stack against pitcher, and I stand by that.
Yeah, I have tried to stack against him like 4 times this season, and it has not worked at all.
No, he's not stackable. He's just not stackable, David.
Ben actually put him in the write-up today, and Cardi put all the Padres in the write-up. I know that Team RX is all about the Padres tonight, so it's like Ben versus the world with this George of the Roses thing.
Well,
he just tweeted about it.
First of all, I don't know how he has a 4.81 ERA because I'm like Kitchen, where I feel like it never works when I pick on him.
Never does.
But somehow he has a 4.81 ERA, so someone's having some success against him. But
yeah,
it's probably when they're on the road.
I don't.
Go ahead.
What, Davis?
I would guess that his road ERA would be higher if that's the case, because you would stack against him at home when he's at Coors. But if you're not having success,
that would just kind of be random.
Yeah, of course it's random because he's not a high skill pitcher.
The reason his ERA is so high is his first 3 games he went 4 1/3 inning in all 3 of them and gave up a combined 14 runs. Since then, he's given up more than 2 runs in a game only once, and he's gone 6 or more innings 4 times out of 5. So he has not been that bad.
I think, I normally don't like to stack against him because he does get ground balls. He can, the way he pitches, he doesn't get crushed in cores, but it's tough to not have a Padres mini stack just based on the pricing. I mean, you've got Carlos Quentin back, who's got huge power and getting the park shift in cores. You've got, Denorfia, who's probably going to be at the top of the lineup, and he's hits lefties really well, and again, park shift. And when you add up all the contextual evidence, I like having at least 2 to 3 Padres, assuming you're not scared of weather.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know if you're gonna go cheap, you also have Cincinnati. Like Kendricks is not very good. It's Citizens Bank Park isn't Coors, but it has some qualities that make it pretty damn close. And there are still some people in that. There's some players in that lineup that are capable of sending them out. Mesoraco is back too. Hamilton only needs to get on base to steal. Brandon Phillips, Ludwig. I mean, none of these guys are like really desirable players, but at the same time, they're all really, really cheap.
All right, can we move on to batters or something?
Yeah, I thought that was an important conversation.
Well, no, I mean, it is, but it's already 4:30, and you guys are still tickling each other with pitchers.
All right. Well, let's talk about catchers. The number 1 catcher in your model today, Leone, is who?
A guy who's not playing.
A guy who's not playing. Okay. So as far as high-priced options at catcher, is there anyone you're looking at or thinking about paying up for today?
I mean, I really wanted to play Grandal, but he's not in the lineup, so I don't mind punting the position with with Jordan Pacheco for the Rockies.
Yeah. Laffy, who are you looking at the catcher position?
Well, clearly you have to consider John Jaso right now. Batting second against McAllister. I think
that's my guy too.
Brian Pena, cheap. Is it Pena? Because there's no squiggly above his name.
I still think it's Pena.
Yeah, right. But you can't tell me you have not questioned that before.
There's no squiggly?
No. Here, hold on. Another Steve Clevenger. I'm bad with pronunciation, so bear with me. Guthrie's really bad.
He's very bad.
And he's batting 6th, left-handed, and he's cheap. I'm actually going to have him in some lineups tonight, and he really has not been all that poor since seeing some playing time with Wieters out.
Okay, how do you feel about Nick Hundley, Leone? He is.
I was just looking at him, on Draft Street, where pricing can be kind of tough. To get a minimum price guy in a situation like him is kind of rare. And since I'm not really on any of the top catchers, I don't mind that price at all on Draft Street. 2,500. I think that's a very viable play.
Yeah, he's also $100 more than the bare minimum on FanDuel, and if you want to use Lynn and Tulowitzki, you're going to have to get in some bare minimum guys at some point. And I don't hate targeting that game. There. Would you prefer Pacheco or Hundley?
Pacheco.
You would? Okay, cool. I think that's all the catcher conversation we need to have, because first base, obviously when we have so many games, first base is a little bit deeper. I think the main guy I'm looking at, I'm with Laffy. I think that Guthrie is super terrible, so I think Chris Davis is the guy that I'm locking in tonight. Are you on board with that, Leone?
Megakrone. Next question.
Megakrone. Do the Angels play tonight? Yeah, they do. Chris Archer. No, he's not gonna be in the lineup, brah. He got robbed of a home run last night. I would have beaten Tuttle last night if he wouldn't have gotten robbed. It was bullshit.
Man, all these ifs. Just poor Davis. No, I'm totally with you, Chris Davis. The price is pretty nice too. I mean, he's our top first baseman. Him and Fielder and Ortiz are kind of our top guys, but Ortiz, I don't think you need to pair up for him against Scherzer coming off that hot streak, and I'm pretty much on Chris Davis.
Hey, he has good BVP versus Scherzer, though, as Tommy informed me in the chat.
I mean, see, he ranks top 10 in our model because he hits right-handed pitching so well that it's not crazy for him to have good BVP because he crushes right-handed pitching.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you were joking about BVP, but the only thing I ever look at with that is extra base hits. He's got 3 home runs and 15 at bats, so it really doesn't mean much. But like Mike said, it's a right-handed pitcher, so do we really need more than that? And Scherzer's given up a home run a game, so if there's one guy that's going to get that home run tonight, odds are, oh no, not one a game. Sorry, I misspoke. But he has given up one in a bunch of games, if that helps. Yeah, so he's going to hit one tonight.
Ortiz is going to hit one tonight?
Yeah, he's going to get a hit.
Oh, he's going to get a hit. I thought you were saying a home run.
No, I'm not predicting a home run off Max Scherzer. I can't do that. But I do like him tonight.
Okay, what other guys do you like at first base tonight, Laffy?
First base, he already mentioned Chris Davis.
I'm all over that.
Yeah, I like that. Again, Brandon Moss is a guy you just have to consider facing a righty. McAllister's not bad, but he's not like, you're not going to stay away from him because of that. And Daniel Murphy's first base eligible on DraftKings. Kind of interesting pick. Joey Votto was my number 1, but he's not in the lineup.
Yeah, him's hurt. Is there anyone else at first base that we need to talk about?
Yeah, as a GPP play, maybe one of the best and probably lowest owned, just because he's had a decent season, but not many people are like taking note, is Ryan Howard against Simone. So I think he's a decent, and he's not too high priced on most sites either.
Okay, we just got a question in the chat. Adrian Gonzalez for a GPP versus Wade Miley in the Diamondbacks tonight?
Oh, no.
No way?
Not for me, no.
Okay.
I would, because I like all the right-handed bats for the Dodgers around him, so I don't mind it in a GPP.
That's an interesting thought. Hasn't he been struggling really bad? Maybe not. Yeah, granted, it's a GPP, but yeah, my God, he's been really bad lately.
Davis, why is Lance? I'm trying to draft against you in Elite, and my player.
Because we're in the mid too. I wanted to slate.
Oh, they've got Shelby. Already. No, I was looking for Lance Lynn.
Oh yeah. Well, I just took Jose Quintana, so that's where my head's at. Let's move on though. Let's talk about some second basemen that you guys like tonight. I think Jed Jerko is in a really good spot. I know we've talked about this game a lot, but he's just super cheap on FanDuel. I don't think as highly of Jorge De La Rosa as Laffy does.
I don't think highly of him. I just think even lower of San Diego, to make that clear.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, who are some second base guys that you're looking at, Laffy?
First of all, Gerko, a ridiculous last name. I hate that guy.
It's Jerko.
What did you call him, Davis?
I've heard it both ways.
It's Jerko. That's the way their like announcers on MLB TV say it. It's just Jerko.
Jerko? That's great. There really aren't many. Like most nights, there aren't many. Chase Utley is going to cost you, and it's going to be really hard to fit him into your lineups tonight because there's a lot of other good players. But the dude has 17 doubles on the season. He leads the league in doubles. He's been great. He's been the one constant in Philadelphia, and he'll have another good game tonight. If you want a safe play at second base, go with Utley. But outside of that, David Murphy versus Roart. I like Daniel Murphy. I'm sorry.
Daniel Murphy, yeah.
And Rendon, I don't know where he is on your sites, but second base and on DraftKings against Jonathan Neese, and he hits lefties well.
Who are some guys you're looking at, Leone?
Yeah, I
At
agree.
second
I like
base.
Rendon. He's been just murdering left-handed pitching, and Giorgio. Those are probably the two that I'm looking at most.
Churko.
I'm not even going to try and say it again to correct myself. Robinson Cano is not a bad. I know he's been really disappointing to start, but Kyle Gibson's quite awful. So
Yeah, he's not good.
Quite awful
I think
is a good description.
what's that?
Quite awful is a pretty decent description of him. And Cano hasn't been terrible lately.
yeah, and if you're looking to punt, I will do the obligatory mention of DJ LeMahieu. Yeah, and Odor. We mentioned we mentioned that dude on this show every single day as a punt option, and he's been okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's facing a righty.
Yeah, anytime you have someone super cheap in a high run environment with the platoon split, like, I don't hate that as a punt. I think the main conversation we need to have, though, in terms of middle infield, though, is, are you paying up for Troy Tulowitzki in cash games? I think that is a big question for how you're doing lineup construction. And it's a question most nights, but this is in a situation where it's hard to fade him at home with the platoon split. What way are you leaning, Laffy?
I am. God, it's really tough, too. I'm sure you've already messed around with some lineups. It's tough, but I just don't think I can not play him tonight. He's, 3 games, hasn't done much. He got kicked out of one of them, though. He only had 2 at-bats. But it's Troy Tulowitzki against a weak lefty in Coors Field. Is there any more we need to say about that? I mean, it's just, that's it. It's simple.
Yeah, it's just a lineup construction question because his tag is, like, ridiculous. So.
No, I hear you, but I'm just explaining to you why it's really, really hard for me not to play him.
Yeah, he's in my lineup. I can't fade him. What are you doing, Leone?
Cash games, too, Leone, he's talking about.
I'm fading Tulowitzki because
Ooh, okay.
Whoa!
I think you've got a very viable alternative in Hanley Ramirez for a lot cheaper everywhere.
Hand ram.
Hanley does have the platoon split, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's division. The Dodgers seem to face a lot of right-handed pitching.
You mean
I don't know why.
Let me just
Yeah.
bring something up real quick. For those of you playing on DraftKings, Tulowitzki 6,100. Hanley Ramirez is 5,000. In my opinion, Hanley Ramirez is more overpriced than Tulowitzki is. So while I like Hanley a lot tonight, I'm going to find a way to fit Tulo into my lineup because Hanley simply has not been productive enough to justify that price tag despite a decent matchup.
Right, but you're picking the site that they're closest, and even then it's an 1,100 gap.
I'm talking. That's why I said I'm just talking about DraftKings. I know
It's
a lot
like
of people
a
play it.
$2,000 difference on some sites.
Well, it depends what the salary structure is. I mean, 2,000.
Well, like FanDuel, I mean, to go from 5,700 to 3,800 opens up a lot.
It's huge. It's huge. Sure, but what I'm saying is 5,000 on DraftKings is too much for me to pay for Ramirez anyway.
Yeah,
And the-
I'm on board with
Look
him
at
there.
Hanley the last few years: 394 weighted on base average, 267 ISO against left-handed pitching. Those numbers are just as good as Tulo's numbers against left-handed pitching. I'm pretty
But
sure.
they aren't this. Yeah, right. Last year though, he's
Right,
had,
but what's more important, like how he's swinging the bat now, or what his actual skills are?
you want my honest opinion on that? Sometimes it's how the hell they're swinging the bat right now. Simple, man. Like, people don't want to buy that. I know everyone's like nose deep into the stats, and granted they make sense, but like, take Shin-Soo Choo for example. He's sucking against right-handed pitching this year. Look at what he's doing against lefties. He's killing lefties. Okay, he's
But do
striking.
you honestly expect that to continue?
No. But as of now, I'm gonna roll with the hot hand in another excellent matchup. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't like Hanley Ramirez. I like him. He's on my list. But what I'm saying is I'm not willing to reach for him salary-wise as I would reach for Troy Tulowitzki salary.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation like 3 times a week on this show since the beginning of the season, so we're not doing it. I will say that I agree with you.
We just
Yeah.
did.
I know. I will say I agree with you that I wouldn't want to pay $5K on DraftKings for Hanley anyways, so that Tulo's the option there. But on FanDuel, it's a real conversation. And I'm definitely on Leone's camp that I'm looking at the 3-year splits more than how they're batting right now. On FanDuel, I think I'm definitely paying up for Tulowitzki. Outside of Hanley Ramirez and Tulowitzki, though, are there any like punt options that you think are viable tonight, Leone?
I'm pretty locked into one of those two because, it's such a bad position that when you've got two guys that are clearly superior options and then you throw in that they're both in good parks, both have the platoon split, I feel strongly to take one of the two. Obviously, I prefer Hanley. You could take Everth Cabrera just because of, environment, top of the lineup, and speed upside.
And you have Billy Hamilton and GPP play, just to throw one in there. Brandon Crawford always has home run potential against righties, even though it's in AT&T Park. And I think he's always an intriguing play because he's really low owned most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and Hicks does too, where he's eligible. I always forget that Hamilton is shortstop eligible on DraftKings. I love that for GPPs on DraftKings.
It's such a weak position most days. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no negatives for outs there, so that kind of all you gotta do is get on base once.
Yeah,
Leo,
he can
I
make
do
your
want to
day.
mention, if I was playing on FanDuel, I would have Hanley Ramirez at shortstop. You said he's 3,800.
Yeah.
I would have him at shortstop. That's not what I'm arguing with there. Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on though. Let's talk about the old hot corner: Nolan Arenado or Chase Headley, Leone.
Arenado.
Duh.
Do you like Beltre more? I saw that he was on the rundown today.
I think Beltre is someone he hits same-handed pitching well and opposite-handed pitching so well that it always is kind of up there near the top plays. But I don't think there's enough of a gap between him and Arenado Headley that I would pay up for Beltre today.
Yeah. Just an interesting stat. Chase never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. But yeah, I wish Pedro Alvarez was playing tonight. That would have been really, really nice at Yankee Stadium. But I'm on Arenado.
Dave, that game's postponed.
I know. I said I wish they were playing tonight.
Well, we could be like Derek and just talk about a game that wasn't even in the slate. He likes to do that.
Samar just got to roll tonight.
What, was it a day game in Chicago?
Yeah, Samar's got.
Oh, do you remember the Patriots Day game, the Boston game, where he was like, "Oh, I like Johnny Gomes. He donged. No big deal."
It was also the Mariners when the Mariners were playing a doubleheader and no one had the second doubleheader.
Yeah.
It happens to us all, though. When I first started doing shows, I used to do the same thing because you're just like you're focusing on the analysis at first, like really like at the paper. Yeah. Mike has done that a few shows.
Talking in front of people is scary
as well.
I'm with Kitchen though. Sometimes you get your head like into the numbers so much you're working on it that you forget to look at something as simple as if it's even in the slate.
Yeah, that's why I'll go on DraftKings and just look at reference off of that. But it happens. Kyle Seager too, Davis.
You like Kyle Seager tonight at third base? I saw that he showed up on a couple sites as well.
Yeah, why not? As Mike stated earlier, Kyle Gibson sucks. So
yeah,
I definitely I don't have a problem. I wish he was batting a little higher, but 6 will do.
Yeah, it's weird that speaking of Seattle, it's weird that Chris Young is pitching tonight, and we haven't talked about targeting him. He's been like very oddly effective tonight this year. Just weird.
Is it Derek or Ben? Somebody just hammers this guy every week.
It's Derek.
Rightfully so. And then he.
Well, he's not as bad, I think, as people.
No, he's just.
But he's been incredibly lucky this year, though. Let's not. He actually has been this bad this year. He's been really lucky.
He's not flashy though. That's the thing. He's not flashy. He's not going to strike guys out, throw 100 miles per hour. But
he's not going to do anything.
Well, he has. He has, man.
He's gotten lucky. I mean,
sure, but yeah, he's got pretty lucky. But at the same time, he's he's a kind of guy that now when you look at players against him, you think twice. That's all I'm saying as of now.
I mean, he's got a 26.7 ground ball rate, ton of fly balls.
What's the BABIP?
4.3 Ks per 9, 3.82 walks per 9. I mean, that's pretty horrific.
What's his BABIP?
179.
Oh my God, he's been really, really lucky. I'll give you.
I mean, he will have a lower than average BABIP because he's a fly ball pitcher. So naturally, those guys have a low BABIP, but not that low. And
no, that's really
a fly ball rate of 5.9. He does.
What's the league average? Like 287 or something. I mean,
something around there. I mean, he'll probably. I mean, you target more like 260. You don't expect him to come all the way up there, but still, he's got a 5.78 xFIP, and that's exactly the projection that Zips has him on rest of season ERA wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Leffy said, you think twice because, not to be redundant because I've said this before, but sometimes these fly ball pitchers, when they are getting lucky, you're not getting any points elsewhere.
Exactly.
So, but there's definitely a ton of home run upside against them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on and talk about outfield. I think there are a lot of different directions to go. I think that some of the Twins outfielders, when looking at Parmelee and Kubel, I think they're in play if we're talking about Chris Young. Obviously, the Padres and the Rockies guys are in play. I think you should talk a little bit about Denorfia though, because he's a platoon player and he's super cheap everywhere and doesn't play very often. So you should talk about Denorfia Leone.
Yeah, he's a guy that we generally like versus left-handed pitching, especially when you're getting a park shift that much. Since 2011, a 373 weighted on-base average. That's really good. That's not just decent for a cheap player. That's legitimately good. 171 ISO. He's only striking out 11.6% of the time, so those numbers are pretty legitimate. And then you put him in the leadoff spot at Coors. I mean, that's a really good play. Carlos Quentin, again, another guy. The reason I like the Padres so much is because it's not just saying, Padres in Colorado. Like, they got some guys that are legit good against Southpaws. Quentin's 404 weighted on base average, 238 ISO, and that's with having played, a lot of games at Petco. So those two guys are really high on my radar. But
yeah, I'm all over Carlos Quentin tonight.
Do you want some non-San Diego plays, or are you gonna go over to Laufey?
Yeah, we'll go over to Laufey and then we'll go back to you.
Cool.
One of my top guys would be Yasiel Puig, and he's been on fire lately. But I love the matchup tonight in a pitcher's park. It's tough not to like him. I don't mind a couple San Francisco outfielders either, but they're so unpredictable. Maybe Angel Pagan, Tyler Colvin, where he's cheap. I don't know if he's still cheap on certain sites. Just going over to righty on righty, I still like Cruz and Jones tonight in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that also, I mean, he's so mad, but I think Markakis is maybe worth a GPP option tonight just because he's leading off. And I think Guthrie is so bad.
I just saw that pick that you have of him.
Yep.
Your last pick. That's for 12K?
Yeah, but
I only went
there's
one
not a lot of
pitcher.
expensive pitchers, so it's actually hard to fill your team today.
Well, you don't have... I mean, Davis is notorious for leaving lots of salary.
You have to on Elite sometimes because you'll find those Chris Davis minimum salary and now and then the nights where there aren't a lot of good pitchers out there, I've found myself with thousands left over before.
Markakis did have 2 hits last night against Ventura.
Singles.
Oh yeah, they're nothing but singles.
Definitely singles.
They usually are, but Davis, Curtis Granderson, and Jason Worth from that one game are 2 interesting plays as well.
I'm just looking at Leone. He picked Freddie Freeman for 10.6 versus Markakis at 12.1. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So, I don't know. I'm just not in love with the Markakis pick, especially on Elite for 12K.
Well, what would you have done, David? There wasn't really much that I could do. Like Leone,
go Freddie Freeman, freak.
I don't know.
Fortunately, this isn't a qualifier, so is it really worth discussing Nick Markakis. It's up to you, fellas. But
It is not worth no.
Davis is the one that brought him up, and that's what upset me. Like he brought him up.
It upset him. On a personal level.
Well, great.
Right.
Now I can't believe in myself because I was going to fade Markakis. So.
All right. Floors back to Leone to talk about some non-Padres outfielders.
I was too busy arguing about BABIP in the chat, but
what were you arguing about?
BABIP.
And what else?
That's about it.
Okay.
Get off me, bro.
Bro, let him be.
I like. Laufey said Pugh. I like Matt Kemp a lot for
Who?
even cheaper.
That might be better than Mione.
Game over.
You need to Photoshop
Yo, that's it. It's
Seal's face onto a pug right now.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, pronunciation isn't my strong suit.
Like
We've been
I
over
even
this.
said it a minute ago. I set you up for success, man.
That's what he said. He said, like Laufey said, I like Pew.
All right, make your point.
Oh, that's
No, I'm done.
You're done. Okay. I mean, I really like Stubbs tonight. That's obvious. Eric Stoltz is just a bad pitcher. He has power, and basically Coors Field fits Stubbs just perfectly. It fits his profile exactly. So I'm all over him tonight, and he's stealing bases too, which is pretty nice.
and he's actually hitting some home runs here and there.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna be using him in cash games tonight.
And he's batting second, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like Stoops too.
Yeah, Stoobs, dude. Do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys want to talk about?
I almost let an
guaranteed
F-bomb fly, Dave.
Oh, you have to, dude. You're being me. You have to swear.
Go ahead, Mike.
No,
I know-
when the moment's right.
Are you going to say Fuke?
Puke off, guys.
Go off. Okay, dude. You know what it's time for? It's time for guaranteed dongs. Dong of the day, and obvious and under the radar. I'll let Leone redeem himself. He can go first right now.
Chris Davis, guaranteed.
All
Boom.
right.
Laufey, obvious
Let him,
guy.
let him give his under the radar.
Oh, I thought we were going back and forth
He
here.
didn't look ready.
Oh, sorry, because I wasn't ready either. I was trying to say. All right.
Does Quentin count as under the radar?
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
He is okay.
When
He was gonna
Carlos
be mine.
Quentin.
I think so. You know, I mean, yeah, I think so. But in all seriousness, I think Puig and as a lock, you know, or at least for a great game. And then under the radar, that's tough. I'm gonna go with Brian Pena.
All right. My obvious is Tulo, and my under the radar is Denorfia.
Okay. You know, if Ibanez is in the lineup, I wouldn't be against him. Archer's actually really struggled against lefties, and Ibanez is always, you know, liable to hit for some power or strike out.
He is. He's batting cleanup.
He's batting cleanup.
I just refreshed. I didn't see it. Okay. Yeah, batting cleanup. I'll go with him as my under the radar.
For what it's worth, he has the lowest slugging percentage of all qualified batters this year. So if we're talking career numbers, you're right. If we're talking numbers this year, then
Well, I don't believe.
I thought we had to count what he's doing this year.
I don't believe in hot streaks. So I guess what I'm saying here is, career numbers are basically what I'm going with. No, yeah, dude, he's old as dirt. What do you expect from the poor guy?
all right, we gotta talk about this elite draft.
Oh yeah, it's over,
Yeah, it might. Well, I don't feel as bad about my team as I did yesterday.
dude. You're lucky that you went to Quintana and they didn't have Lance Lynn, or it would be over.
Well, I saw that they didn't have Lance Lynn, dude. I'm not. An
Oh, I
idiot.
thought you said you just went straight to Quintana.
No.
Oh.
I don't think you pronounce it like quit.
No, it's Quintana.
Yeah. So
Listen.
it's not like it's not like the La Quinta Inn. It's It's La Quinta.
Well, we're in America.
Well, yeah. Okay, so
I'm with Leone on that one. It's Quintana.
Yeah, can you pull those rosters back up, Dave?
boom.
Okay, yeah, because basically what I did is I went pretty heavy on the San Diego hitters, and you got Carlos Quentin, which sucks. But I did get Tulowitzki, which I feel good about, and Arenado. Basically, if San Diego hits as well as I think they're going to, I think I got a chance against you. You do have two pitchers who aren't in terrible spots. But yeah, so you went. Well, if you had the first pick, who would you have taken? Santana still? You take him over Quintana?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
But I don't know. I have it. It was pretty close though.
I've made a terrible mistake time. Who is the guy that you're most going to regret fading, Laffy? Or putting in your lineup and you shouldn't?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Unfortunately, Lance Lynn will be the guy that I will play and possibly will regret.
Leone?
And I love him, but
I'm gonna regret not playing Troy Tulowitzki. That was the easiest segment of the day for me. That is super
silly. Yeah. I think I'm gonna regret stacking four Padres in my FanDuel cash lineup versus George of the Roses. I think that's probably a mistake. So super excited to enter those lineups. That's gonna be fun. Also, if that game gets rained out, I will quite literally maybe get like 10 points on FanDuel tonight. So that's gonna be.
It's gonna be interesting because that Survivor tournament, 3,900 people are in it. Like, people are going heavy on this Colorado San Diego game. So if it doesn't get played, there's still a strong chance of you surviving to the next round. So
yeah. Well, as soon as we get done here, I'm getting on the road. So if it gets postponed, I'm screwed.
Hold on, Davis. There's a more than 20% chance, 10% chance of rain.
Oh, snap!
No, I know. Coors Field, dude. That's my only answer to that. I think it is such a mistake to fade Coors Field with bad pitchers, and because I have 4 Rockies too. I have as many possible as I can.
I like for tournaments stacking the Dodgers and then hope that the Padres game gets canceled.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers too. It's just on average, their batters are more expensive, and it's like I would rather play Stubbs for 3.2 than Puig for 4.8, I think. And because I have
Kemp, though.
See, but I have Tulo in, so I don't really have room.
Yeah, I like Kempton. Honestly, it's really interesting because, and I know we got to go, but there are a couple pitchers up there at the top, and you look at them and the big names, and usually you have to have one of those guys in your lineup. But tonight with the matchups, it isn't necessarily the case. So if you go with 2 mid-range pitchers, you can definitely fit some heavy bats in your lineup tonight, more than just Tulo. But you're going to have to, fade Darvish or Scherzer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going with Lance Lynn in my cash games. I trust my boy Laffy. You wouldn't steer me wrong. So you guys both talked me off Rourke, which is, I guess, well, I talked myself off Rourke.
You should trust yourself, though, dude.
No, but I saw the Mets.
Brad,
I saw the Mets lineup, brah. Can't do it with all them lefties.
That's like the opposite of Trill.
There we go. I'm gonna say you as far as an imitation of me, you did pretty good. You broke character a lot, basically, obviously throughout the entire show.
Well, I'm only so creative.
Yeah, that's what I told
Dave. What was the word, Dave?
The word was regression.
How did we not say? Well, we said it in chat.
Mike definitely said regress in chat, but the word was never spoken.
Well, see, we gotta have Cardi on the show for that, because then it would come up for sure.
Yeah.
Or we gotta have Tommy on the show, and Tommy and I can just yell at each other about BVP for an hour.
Regression.
That would be like the crossfire of DFS if we just had a shouting match over BVP.
Yeah, just put me and Tommy in a chat and just watch it go.
No one will win that.
No one.
All right. Well, that will be it for all the BABIP lovers, for all the BBP lovers out there, for all the park shift, regression, and weather lovers out there. I would like to say thank you for tuning in for today's Insiders TV show. And remember, believe in yourself when you're making these lineups.
Dave, your eyes look so big in those glasses, man. It's just fantastic.
It's pretty great.
So Davis is either gonna wear this or what?
I can't hear you. The music.
What are you saying? Say it.
I said I was either gonna wear this or bundle up in a hoodie like I live in Antarctica.
Yeah, well, there's no middle ground for me. It's either tank top or hoodie. I'm wearing a hoodie over this today, but I tanked it up for the show.
You look ripped, bro.
I have not lifted in so many months.
You look jacked, bro.
Mike, did you see the imitation that I was doing of you
Yeah, several times.
with the picture?
No.
Hey, Mike, it's
Let's
good
see.
to have you back, buddy. I missed you.
Wait, oh, I gotta see this.
Hey. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite songs. I really love this song.
Drew, Tommy,
Drew,
you know that Mariano
Drew,
Rivera's bad.
you know Kluber is amazing. All right, guys, that'll be it. Thanks to FantasyElite for sponsoring the show. Remember, you can get it in the what store, Davis?
The App Store.
That will be it. We'll see you Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern.